Hello, I'm Dr. Shoshana Garfield, and today you're going to discover something really quite special, and that is how to live being led more deeply by your intuition. And there are a few points to make here. One of the first is that your head will often tell you what's right to do. So I should eat this because it's good for me. I should want this job because it's a good career move. I should or shouldn't want more or any children because of this or that reason. And there are all these becauses, these reasons, and they're really good reasons, and they look very convincing when you first let them pop into your head. But the thing is that these voices are coming from other voices. And Mark Twain once famously said something along the lines of, most people in positions of authority, which includes you because you're the biggest authority of your own life, so most people in positions of authority take that authority and what they say about what they're supposed to be the authority of based on what other people before them in authority have said. And those people have unquestioningly taken their tenets of authority from those before them who have been tenets of authority, and so on and so forth down through the ages, without ever really questioning, what is this? And so what we think may be smart may actually not be too wise. And where your wisdom lies is with your intuition. And this is one of the next points then. You're not who you think you are. And I mean that in some ways quite literally. Because when I say, hi, I'm Dr. Shoshana Garfield, I'm presenting as this woman called Dr. Shoshana Garfield, and, this is what I look like, and these are my characteristics, and this is how I am in the world. But none of that is really me. The stories that I tell about myself, the habits that I have, the preferences I have even for food or things like that, that's not me. And those equivalents for you, those aren't you. When I think I should or shouldn't do something or say something, that's coming from the head. That's coming from this ego level of identification of personality. And it's not always very helpful. Whereas, have you ever had moments where you just kind of feel inspired or tugged somehow to literally or figuratively turn a different corner? Just do something different. And it turns out to have all these knock-on consequences that are really enjoyable and lovely for you. That's your intuition. That's not coming from an intelligence that can be measured with any kind of intellect. It's an intelligence that doesn't have words. It's an intelligence that doesn't have a physical place in your body, and yet it is within you. And it's a voice that can get drowned out because it's not necessarily very logical at all. In fact, it can seem extremely illogical. So it seems quite rational and right to set it to the side and ignore it, because the messages seem a bit weird sometimes. But that brass band of the intellect, of the should and what we're told and what we think is right for us, can take us to places such as, I'll be happy when. I'll be happier when I switch jobs, when this job gets stable, when I change my spouse or when I keep my spouse, when the next kid is born or when the next kid leaves the house, and so on and so forth. That I'll be happy when construction means you're not happy now. Is that really what you want, to not be happy now? Does that really make sense when you really think about it? Isn't there a deeper logic here? And that deeper logic ties to your intuition. That deeper logic comes from a place that's not about your name, your history, your address, what you have or don't have in your wallet, what you have or don't have in your pocketbook or briefcase or drawers at home. It's not about what you like to have for dinner or your favorite ice cream flavor. It's not about any of that. It's something strangely impersonal. It's something phenomenally wise. And that is you. That is who you are. That's who you really, really are, underneath that brass band of public identity. Underneath the story of who you are is who you really are, ineffably wise, guiding you all the time, whether you listen to it or not. So there are two aspects of tuning into your wisdom or living with your wisdom. The first is, one, being able to hear it in the first place, and the second is allowing yourself to listen to it. So, in order to hear your wisdom in the first place, You need to let yourself have a bit of quiet. If you're rushing around and really stressed and tense, and that's you thinking yourself into a corner. That's you already getting lost in the I'll be happy when. I'll be more relaxed when the commute's over. I'll be happy when the traffic lets up. I can't think about being relaxed now because there's this stuff going on. Breathe. Allow yourself a little bit of quiet, even in a noisy place. Even if the noisiest place is inside your head, allow yourself a little bit of quiet. And sometimes, when you invite it, when you live with that reception to that quietude, little magic things start to happen. And you get little hints, little suggestions. And that leads us to the second one, of allowing yourself to follow them. And this is a skill that you can develop, or a skill that you can just unleash from inside yourself. It's your choice. I know there have been times when I've not listened to my intuition. For instance, when I parked up my car about 20 foot from the corner, and a little voice inside said, "Move the car," and I didn't. And the next day I went out to drive my car to work, and sure enough, it had been crashed into, and it was undrivable, had been completely totaled. And the person who did it didn't leave a little note saying, "Sorry, here's my number." I didn't listen to my quiet voice. I had reasons. I was too tired. I was too rushed. I drowned it out. It came, and then I dismissed it out of my tightness and my thinking, I'll be happier when I can get inside and relax. As opposed to, I know I can trust this, no matter where it takes me. And that actually comes close to one of the definitions of courage that I really enjoy, of being willing to follow your truth wherever it takes you, including deep inside the rabbit hole of your own intuition. There are a few points that I would like to raise with you as to why people kind of back away from their intuition or misunderstand or are confused by it. One is that some people think that if they follow their intuition and surrender to their intuition, that they'll lose themselves. And actually, to a certain degree, that's true. Because when the intuition speaks and you listen, there is a seeming loss of free will. But that voice inside of you, that intuitive side, that true wisdom, has nothing but your very highest best for you. Every time, sometimes under some very unlikely rocks. So, what have you really got to lose except your insecurities and unhappiness? It's not about losing your false ego self, but more like becoming more of who you truly are. Harmony, peace, joy, bliss, happiness, and more. Another point is making a distinction between following your heart and following true wisdom, true intuition. There are many people who just kind of emote all over the place, very much into drama. They're like, oh, I've got to follow my heart. I want to go and do this stupid thing. But I know it'll be the right thing because my heart tells me. Whereas that voice could really be coming from very deep emotional instability, things like codependency, and so on and so forth. And it's not about the intellect versus the heart in which you follow there, which is presented in that kind of dichotomy in a lot of movies and mass media, etc. But it's more that understanding that neither the intellect nor your general set of emotions is telling you the truth about what to do, but are often telling you the truth about what you're thinking in terms of the quality of connection to that true intuition. That if your intellect is generating thoughts that generate feelings that are anywhere kind of tight or urgent or worried or stressed, that's your whole guidance system telling you that you're not following your true wisdom and intuition. Okay? And there's another thing as well, that some people say, you talk about women's intuition. It's about human intuition. human wisdom that each of us, male, female, young, old, we all have it because we're human. And it's more than a birthright. People don't say your liver is your birthright. It's just part of what you come with and part of what keeps you functional. Your inner wisdom is part of who you are. It is the essence of who you are. It's not your birthright. You can't be without it. Birthrights can be stolen. Inheritances can be stolen. But your inner wisdom cannot be stolen, damaged, destroyed, or harmed in any way. It is always pure and always there guiding you even right now. Quietly, softly, always for you. So I invite you over this next week and for the rest of your wonderful life to find your own quiet in whatever way that works for you. Often just by knowing it's there is all you need. And see where it takes you on this wonderful adventure. Very best wishes, and bye for now.